What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the tower. Before I start, I just wanted to say that I did do a progress update with Crowbar Zero, and that's on his channel. So I will leave the link to that in the description if you want to check it out. So let me get started here. Doing a module highlight, we're going over Sharp Fortitude today. So this is a armor module, and what it does is that it increases your wall health and your wall regen by a certain amount. And then if enemies hit your wall more than once, they will take more thorns damage every hit, 1% more, which is pretty nice if you're using EHP at all. So for the unique effect, it's actually a little bit complicated how I value each upgrade. There's kind of two ways you can look at it. One way is just how much wall health you actually gained, like the percent of your total wall health. Or you can kind of think about it like how much extra wall health the upgrade actually gave you. So for example, going from epic to legendary, you get a total of 20% more wall health. Because for example, let's say you have 100 wall health, you're going from 125 to 150, which is 20% more. Or you can think of it like how much extra health you actually get from the module. So you start off with getting 25% more wall health, and legendary gives you 1.5 times more. So that's 100% more health from the actual module, and not including your total wall health. So going from legendary to mythic, you gain 33% more total wall health. And then that's also a 100% increase in extra wall health you get. And then going from mythic to ancestral, you get 25% more total wall health. And then that's only 50% extra compared to the mythic. So it kind of depends how you think about it. But either way, I do think the value is weighted a lot towards the ancestral. You get a lot more value as you go up, especially like mythic and ancestral. That's where the multiplier starts getting really good. And then there also is the value of the increased thorns damage per hit. That is really nice if you're relying on wall thorns to kill enemies, or even just for overcharge. They will die faster because of the increased thorns from the wall. So for the visual of the module, I can't really show some of the aspects of it, but I can show the actual wall health increase. There's really not much besides just being able to see the extra wall health. I'm not sure if it shows the extra thorns damage at all, besides just from hit text or something, but we should be able to see the increase. So right now I don't have the Sharp Fortitude equipped. I'm at 598 trillion wall health, and then with it equipped, I'm at 1.6 quadrillion wall health. So it's a pretty nice boost. That also does boost the wall regen. Doesn't actually boost your regen stat though, just the wall regen itself. So as you can see there, the thorns is increasing the amount of damage it's doing to the boss. So moving on to the uses of the module. I do think for most people this is not going to be super useful, since it's not going to do anything for glass cannon. If you are not at the point of glass cannon and you're still using EHP, this is definitely the best armor module you want to use though. So this module is kind of for earlier players, or if you're still doing an EHP build and farming, this is definitely the best option. The only other one you would consider is Wormhole Redirector, but I don't think this beats out Sharp Fortitude. I just don't think it's as good as Sharp Fortitude. You would only want to use this if you don't have your wall developed, but this is just by far the better option most of the time, because the amount of wall health and regen you get is really good. I mean, the module is literally made for EHP builds because of the extra thorns damage as well, so enemies die faster. So it's just a really nice option for that. And the reason I don't think it's super good at my level or people like that are in Legends is the fact that there are other better modules. Of course, if you're using damage, Anti-Cube Portal is going to be the best option. So you could only really consider this in the assist slot at that point in the game. And then kind of like I said with the unique effect, you get a lot of the value towards the end. So you would also have to have the rarity upgraded here. And for hybrid and glass cannon, I think there are just better options for the assist slot anyway. Those being space displacer or negative mass projector. So there's just a lot of problems with the module for hybrid and glass cannon. Really good for EHP though. It's literally what it's made for. Moving on to substats. So there are really three main substats you want, and those are going to be these three right here. So defense percent, health regen, and wall health. You don't actually need defense percent if you can get to 98% without it. And then of course the health regen, just because it's a big increase on health regen. And then it's also multiplied by the module, and same thing with the wall health. I don't think this one gives quite as big of a boost though, compared to the health regen. But those are really the main three. The rest kind of depend on preference. I think wall rebuild is also a good option, just to get your wall up earlier. That's probably the next best one, since with this module you'll be very vulnerable when your wall is down. You could also maybe do shockwave frequency if you want to keep the enemies back more to help your wall regen. Also, could use the orb substats if you are using orbs with this and you just want more consistency with your orbs. Thorns would also be a good option, since that just helps your wall thorns and helps you kill the enemies faster with that. And then I guess the landmine substats are also an option, landmine radius and landmine chance. That would be mostly for the stuns with the landmine stun card. I think that's all the substats you want. I don't think there's anything else you would want on this module. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know what module you want to see next. And if you have any other questions, you can leave those in the comments. And yeah, see ya.